Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to today's unseen video. This is where we round up all the talking points from social media, and we have got plenty of talking points and also a little bit more fun in this one. Yesterday, of course, we really got stuck in to a Karrion Kross theory that had been doing the rounds, and there is a lot more Karrion Kross news today. We'll save that, though, because we've got quite a big WWE folder to get through. So here, WrestleOps saying that on Netflix, Raw in 2025 will air live no matter where it's taking place. We know a lot of those shows on the road to WrestleMania 41. They are going to be in Europe. This is a bit of a double-edged sword for our American friends, because if it's going to air live, that means it's probably going to be about 2-3 p.m. You're probably at work. You're probably at school, right? So it airing live doesn't massively help you. You're still going to have to avoid spoilers till you can get home and watch it, right? But anything that doesn't result in taped shows, I think, is a good thing. It's just that because these episodes are happening in Europe, it's obviously not the ideal time for our American friends. But I do think that WWE is trying to become more of a global brand. And I do think we're going to be seeing more of these international shows. But I am surprised, to be honest, at the amount of international shows we're doing, and certainly before WrestleMania. I would have thought that this kind of big European tour, we would have at least got WrestleMania out the way first and then done the European tour May, June, that kind of time, you know? So the timing of this I do find very strange, to be honest. But listen, you know, Netflix, Raw, it's being shown all over the world. So Netflix is very much a global brand. We know that WWE is a global brand, so we can't really blame them for going on the road and getting out there. So it's good news. It's a little bit of bad news for our American friends. But look, anything that results in no tape shows is a big dub in my book. Right, Kofi Kingston on why he and Xavier turned on Big E. He said, "I'm surprised that most of these people out here don't really understand why we did what we did. I mean, we came out there and I said this in a different interview. You can always tell when you're right." So let's do that and let's whoosh this over. When you make an argument and you've said nothing but facts, everything that we said on Monday night was completely factual. You know, it was something that we told the truth. You might not have liked to hear what it was, but then the people online and on social media are talking about cussing at us, cursing us, talking about, oh, your bird's chest. And there are all these insults. I don't even know what this means. There are all these insults that have nothing to do with what we were talking about. So I know that when you can't bring a rational argument to the table, that means you know that you're wrong because you don't have any facts to support your argument. Just because you're upset doesn't mean that you're right. So that was on the Chase and Big Joe show. That was Kofi talking about his actions and Xavier's actions against Big E. I mean, like this, some of this stuff, I mean, like, you know, responding to what happened by swearing and cursing at these guys on social media. I mean, I agree. I think you're losing the plot at that point. And whatever this is about your bird's chest, you know, clearly something's gone on that I've not seen. I actually don't disagree with what Kofi is saying here. I do think that you can have a rational argument or discussion with Kofi and Xavier about why they were wrong to do what they did. But as we know, not everyone is able to have those kinds of conversations, and it seems like they've been facing a little bit of backlash, right? Which probably isn't the biggest surprise. But there we go. Very interesting. That's the most that I have seen from Kofi, from Xavier, following what went down on Monday, right? So very interesting to get a little bit of an update there. Okay, WWE UK, don't miss Saturday night's main event on December 14th at 1 a.m. on WWE's YouTube channel. We spoke about this during the member stream because I just did a member stream. And I said, I think it's a bit weird they're putting it onto the YouTube channel because, of course, we still have the WWE network till the end of the year. But then it dawned on me, it's not weird. It's certainly not weird because, of course, that network is getting closed down here in the UK, but their YouTube channel is not. So it makes more sense to put this show in the UK on their YouTube channel that's going to keep on going in 2025, 2026. I mean, you know, when are they ever going to close their YouTube channel? So it makes more sense to put it there rather than put it onto a platform, which is pretty much done now. It's pretty much dead. It's got about, what, 3 weeks left to go? So yes, if you are in the UK, celebrations. We have found out that Saturday night's main event is going to air for us on the WWE YouTube channel. Of course, in America, it's NBC. This was all part of the arrangement when USA Network got SmackDown. They agreed that they would do, I think it was like 5 specials a year. We know the next one after this is in January. We've spoke about that in a previous Unseen. So, yeah, very good. I'm really pleased the UK is not being cheated out of that show. PW Chronicle reporting a WrestleVotes bit of information. WWE has had initial discussions about bringing specific legends for Saturday night's main event on December 14th. I'm so excited for this. Wendi Richter. Oh my God. Wendi Richter. I flipping love Wendi Richter. Do you know, there was a time where Wendi Richter was just such a big star. Front page of magazines, and she was being built up to be like the female Hulk Hogan. Like, she's in a high-profile match at WrestleMania 1, and obviously she's got Cyndi Lauper by her side, the whole rock and wrestling thing. The idea that women's wrestling only got, like, the attention it deserved recently. Charlotte, Becky, you know how Trish likes to take the credit with the whole thank you Trish thing. You know, you've got Wendi Richter, who was doing amazing stuff for women's wrestling in the 80s. And I would love Wendi Richter to be on that show. She is someone that has not had her flowers. She deserves more flowers. So I'd be really pleased to see her. Cowboy Bob Orton, of course, we've seen plenty of him over the years. Randy Orton's dad. And Hulk Hogan, which is a little bit of a surprise. Don't know the relationship with Hogan. Keeps kind of getting himself in hot water, doesn't he? And, you know, there's like this weird relationship with Hogan. His legacy is undeniable. But I think his legacy is also tainted. Certainly by the comments that he's made in the past. But yeah, it seems like at the moment he's still kind of in the family. And actually he is used in a new Saturday night's main event advert. And we will look at that advert in a bit. So these are the names that are being discussed for Saturday night's main event. So very exciting. Okay, Wrestle Night, shout out to you. So this again coming from WrestleVotes, lots of information from WrestleVotes. Finn Balor is in line for a singles push heading into 2025. He has solidified himself as a leader in the locker room. Now, I feel like we have heard this before, like this year's going to be big for Finn Balor, this year's going to be big for Finn Balor. I feel like that tends to do the rounds pretty much at the end of every year. I do have a little bit more hope this time because there's clearly things happening with the Judgment Day. You know, Finn is kind of trying to make himself the leader now, and it does feel like with Damian gone and Rhea gone, you know, his star power is undeniable in that group. There's only really Liv that I think can kind of stand up to his level of star power. Obviously, Dominic is a very interesting character, but he doesn't have the star power of Finn Balor, in my opinion. Finn Balor, really, someone else that has just not achieved what he should have achieved in WWE, and it's not his fault. It's just there's always been others that I think have been a little bit kind of more prioritized. And again, someone that really deserves the opportunity to have a good world title run. So very excited by that news. Right, here we go. I'm actually going to take the sound down on this, right? Because this is the new advert. There we go. And boom. A little, actually, Hogan speaks a few times in this, talking about Saturday night's main event. So he's all over this. It's not that they just show him once at the start and it's an old image. It's actually Hogan, like, having recorded something from home, like talking throughout the whole thing. Just really bigging up Saturday night's main event. This one for January 25th. And the fact that tickets go on sale next Friday, pre-sale next Wednesday. It's the throwback that throws down, and it's coming to San Antonio, January 25th. This, of course, the second Saturday night's main event. The first one for this return is December 14th, as we saw earlier. So, Wrestle Night, shout out to you. Sean Ross Sapp said the latest we've heard on Jade Cargill, right? So, this was posted 4 hours ago. I can tell you that it's still a little bit sketchy. They're saying that she is listed as being injured. She's on the injury list, the internal injury list, and that there are people saying that she's injured, but it's still unknown. Like, are they doing that because it just adds to the story? It adds to the mystery? Or is it a case that she is actually injured? I personally, I think she has got some sort of injury. There is the sort of whisper that she might be pregnant. Now, again, that's only come from fans, right? So certainly don't read anything into that. But I do look at this and I do think that there is something going on, because I just don't know why you would take Jade out of Survivor Series War Games. I really don't know why you would do that, because we're trying to build her up as a star, and that match is a match that she should have been in. It's one of the biggest PLEs of the year. If you want to do an angle where she's taken out, you do it after Survivor. You do it now. If you don't have to, if she's not really injured, have her do Survivor Series and then, you know, take her out afterwards. I know the argument might be, yeah, but we wanted to get Bayley in there. But I would say, well, why didn't you take Naomi out? You know, there were other people that you could have removed from that match. It didn't have to be Jade Cargill, who, you know, were really trying to build up. So, yeah, for me, because of that, I always look at this and think, I do feel like something's going on. And it seems like Fightful are sort of leaning that way, but no confirmation. Thunder Rosa's real fan, Dark Order 100, said, this story never ends right now. I don't know when we actually find out who attacked her, to be honest. I mean, obviously, SmackDown this week is going to be very interesting now that we are past Survivor Series. But it might have to wait for her to come back before we find out who attacked her. Right, we had the ratings for NXT. They weren't brilliant. They were like high 500,000, like 590-something thousand, right? So this person here said Eric Bischoff shows up and NXT does its worst ratings in more than a year. Eric Bischoff responded and still beat AEW. Did you see the quarter hours? You should see the minute-by-minute numbers. So it is true, NXT, not a very good rating this week. But the overall viewers was still above what AEW did this week. Of course, the demo, 18 to 49 demo, I think AEW's was better. So Dave Meltzer is saying that AEW won the week. A lot of the fans, they look at the overall number. They're saying NXT won the week. Certainly Eric Bischoff is saying that NXT won the week. But quite close. But to be honest, it's hard to celebrate the fact that both AEW and NXT were in the 500,000 range this week. It's just not great, is it? It'd be much better if they were in the 700,000 range, or if they were both in the 800,000 range. They're kind of both down at the moment. So hopefully we can pick it up. But yes, that was Eric responding to a fan. Okay, WrestleOps, PW Insider are all the talk as the late surrounding Rock at WrestleMania 41. What's this? PW Insider on all the talk as of late surrounding the Rock and WrestleMania 41. I feel like that could have been worded better. Let's whoosh it over. Right, WWE works on their creative. And if when The Rock tells them this is what he'd like to do, they change accordingly. If The Rock wants to do something, that's as good as Ari Emanuel telling Triple H and the creative team, this is what will happen. And then it will. The company has their plans and they will pivot. I always think of that Friends moment. If and when The Rock descends down from the board of directors in Hollywood. So just a bit of a glimpse there as to what it's like with The Rock being around. It's sort of like whatever he wants, he gets. Which isn't a great surprise, of course. I do think that he is obviously open to listening to what creative think is best. We know that they did pivot with the whole we want Cody thing. So I don't think that he is like a dictator. It's my way and it's going to go that way. I think he will listen to the fans. I think he's a big believer in listening to what the fans want. So, you know, at least that's good. But yeah, seems like he's got a lot of power. Seems like he can do pretty much what he wants when he wants. Talking of which, like this, look, The Rock's WWE Bad Blood appearance was reportedly to simply get him on screen. The report notes that his appearance didn't have a major direction or a plot point that WWE wanted to further. So apparently he was just around and they used him and it wasn't really kind of built into anything. There wasn't like a big creative behind it. So obviously a lot was read into the gestures. Crispy Wrestling joking, he put up 3 fingers to reveal that Moana 3 is coming. I knew it. So yeah, again, it seems like he can do pretty much what he wants when he wants. Right, do you remember that cryptic message from Sonya Deville? And she was like, you know, I've got something that needs to be said and all this. Well, she's dropped this 27-second video. So let's see what it is that she is saying.
When that's all I've been doing my entire career, actually my entire life, is fighting because I'm a fighter. And I don't just mean in the ring. I have literally overcome things. But I don't sit here and brag about how much I deserve things. And you have Dakota Kai in the tournament. And what now we're applauding her so much because she's come back from her 4th injury in 4 years. And now that's something to brag about now? That's something that's rewarded now? What are we doing? When that's all I've been doing my entire career,
So there we go. She actually said she would post more of the video, but she doesn't want to get in any trouble, any more trouble than she's probably going to be in. But she is upset, annoyed, frustrated that she is not in the running in this tournament to try and crown the first women's intercontinental champion. So that's where her frustration has come from. Fans responded by saying, well, you should be active more or you shouldn't get injured as much. She's actually been responding to fans about this. Like this one here, Thomas said, you're either injured or taking a break, and you ain't that good on the ring either, right? Harsh. But here's Sonya Deville. She said, I never once have taken a break, ever. Are you referring to that one time a man broke into my house and tried to kill me, ? Or the one injury I had in my 10-year career? I'll wait. Oof. Certainly wasn't expecting this to get a mention. But, yeah, I think some of this frustration is genuine, you know. I think some of this frustration is genuine. So, I don't mind this. I think this is quite good. I think this is what their personal account should be for, you know. This is, you've got the opportunity to come out and say something. You've got a platform where you can say something, and she has come out and she has said something like, I should be in this tournament. What else do I need to do? I respect that. I don't know why she felt the need to go after Dakota Kai. She is a heel, right? She is a heel. But, so she's added a bit of heel work in there as well. I respect that as well. But, yeah, okay. Well, there we go. At least got an answer as to what was frustrating Sonya Deville. So that was the WWE folder. I think you'll agree, or I hope you'll agree, lots of stuff in there. Lots of stuff for us to get our teeth into. Now, we're going to jump into the Karrion folder. And to be honest, this one is a little tricky because there is a near 7-minute video here. And it's a video that I think we should play and kind of break down, because this, I think, is kind of what things have been building towards. You might remember yesterday the Wyatt Sicks putting a message out talking about how you're worse than a liar. You're a hypocrite. So hypocrite and hypocrisy very much in the air yesterday. Well, this is Karrion's response to that. And yeah, it's very interesting. So football 24085, shout out to you, buds. Karrion said, welcome to the witching hour. Let's use this time to reveal hypocrisy in plain sight. Let us call out the lies people pretend to not see. Okay, got my attention. I think before we get into this, I do want to just reiterate, I think Karrion is a fantastic talent. I think he has been criminally underutilized. I think that he is an amazing promo, and actually when the feud with the Wyatt Sicks started, I was very clear in these videos saying that I'm a bit concerned he's going to absolutely destroy them when it comes to social media, because his social media game is fantastic. You get a real glimpse of that here, right? The only thing is, we're actually going to, as we play this, pause it and sort of respond to it, right? Because he's saying, let's call out the lies people pretend to not see. Well, let's respond to his point, shall we?
Hypocrite. Is that what we're talking about now?
Hey, brother, you know what? You know what's worse than being a liar? A hypocrite.
Man, I saw that one. It really cut deep, let me tell you.
Can I just say he's right? You know, he is giving us really deep, rich videos, like lots to talk about, lots to think about. they're just coming out with like a sentence and a blurry picture. Like, he's really not wrong there. He's not wrong. Like, yeah, that cut deep, you know?
Man, I've had numerous opportunities to bring up hypocrisy. I wasn't going to go that route, but I guess they want to talk about that, which I don't think is a very good idea for them. Hypocrisy. I love that word. Let's talk about hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is when you appear out of thin air and you proclaim to the world that you were here on some ridiculous noble escapade to target those who do not honor family values and loyalty, people who would destroy their families, while also destroying their families as well.
Now, I think at this point he's made a great point, right? He's saying that the Wyatt Sicks are hypocrites because they say that they are targeting people that they don't have family values, but you come in and you target people's families, right? I think at this point now, what Karrion should have done, in my opinion, is he should have got stuck into the whole Scarlett thing, because they went after Scarlett. That is his wife, yeah? You're going to have a go at people and their lack of family values, but then you're going to come after my wife. I think that naturally fits, and I think it should have been the next example. He doesn't do that, and I think it's a missed opportunity, because he actually gives an example that I think you can quite easily explain. I think the example he goes to is weaker, actually. This, for me, is where it starts to wobble now. This, for me, is where the points start to sort of fall away.
Let me explain. Exhibit A, Chad Gable. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever been stressed out in life, gone through a really rough period, and you've said a series of things that you should not have said to people that you care about, insulted them, called them names? I have. I think everybody has in the world except for the Wyatts. That's exactly what Chad Gable did. Chad Gable lost a series of very important matches. He had an opportunity to become champion. That's why we're all here. That's all, what we all want to do. And he freaked out, like anybody would, anybody could. But friends and families fight. That's what they do. And then they make up. But the Wyatts took that opportunity away from him, and they contributed to the dissolution of his family.
So I'm just going to pause it there, because, again, he's making some really interesting points, but I don't think this is a very strong point, because we saw Chad repeatedly abusing Otis, pushing Otis around, pushing Akira Tozawa around. Like, the point that Karrion is making is that don't you fall out with your family and then don't you make back up again? And it's like, yeah, of course, everyone does that. But at what point does it cross a line? At what point does it go too far? Because there's plenty of families out there where that line has been crossed and their relationships have broken down. And their blood, this family, they weren't blood, the Alpha Academy. And so that line, the crowds were waiting for Otis to stand up for himself, right? And actually, even when it did fall apart, they just sort of walked away. Chad went up to Otis to try and bring him back, and Otis was, no, not interested. It wasn't happening. This was nothing to do with the Wyatt Sicks. Otis didn't come back because of the Wyatt Sicks. Otis was, do you remember backstage? They were in like a cafeteria. And basically he had had enough. And that was it. Chad screwed Chads. And really, the fact that Karrion is trying to pin this now on the Wyatt Sicks is a rewriting of history. And for me, not the strongest example that he could have gone with. He could have gone straight into the Scarlett example. Because for me, the Chad one, it just doesn't work. Chad very quickly found a new family. And is obviously now in American Maids. So, he abused. And for me, went over the line with Alpha Academy. They decided they didn't want to come back. And this has, little to no connection to the Wyatt Sicks.
Not enough hypocrisy for you? I can keep going.
Please do.
How come they attacked my family? They attacked an old man.
So on this one, right? just as I thought he was going to talk about Scarlett, he pivots and goes to Paul Ellering, right? Now, we know that that was not the person that Uncle Howdy was going after, but we know that Paul Ellering represents the enemy anyway, right? So he was going after The Miz. We know he was going for The Miz, but it was actually Paul Ellering that moved in the way and took the bullet. It was Ellering that put himself into that position, right? It was Ellering that knocked The Miz out the way and took... I think it was a claw, was it not, from Uncle Howdy, right? And Paul Ellering is part of the enemy anyway. So it wasn't that they targeted Paul Ellering. He just took the bullet for The Miz.
Then they cornered a woman by herself in a change room.
I don't believe they did. I think it was actually Nikki. And this happened after the attack that the Final Testament launched on Wyatt Sicks. So again, the narrative, the picture that's being painted here is that they all attacked Scarlett. But even Scarlett said it was Nikki. When Karrion asked who was it, she responded, Nikki. She didn't say it was the Wyatt Sicks. So it was Nikki. It was a one-off. Yeah, we jumped her. Yeah, it was a surprise attack. I'm not going to dispute that. But the Final Testament was never in Wyatt Six's crosshairs until they put themselves in Wyatt Six's crosshairs.
And within all of that, they kidnapped Mike Mizanin 5-on-1. I mean, it doesn't really sound very heroic to me.
It's not about being heroic. So he turned on R-Truth, but Bo said this was always about you. And obviously we saw the images of how Bo had been treated when he was in the Miz Taraj. I think if Miz had stayed loyal to R-Truth and had seemingly changed his ways, I don't think he would have been on their hit list. But as soon as he showed his true colors again, then of course Bo remembered how he was treated. He saw a problem, he saw a threat, he saw a danger, and so he went to neutralize it. It's not about being heroic.
Okay, how about this? How come they never came to the rescue of Damian Priest when the Judgment Day, his family turned on him?
Damian Priest was part of the Judgment Day. Judgment Day were a heel faction. There's a lot of pain that the Judgment Day have caused, very similar to the Bloodline, of course. And so I think there may need to be a little bit more repentance. There may need to be a little bit more of true colors shown, until the Wyatt Sicks will start standing up for people like Damian Priest, start standing up for people like Jey Uso, because they were part of the problem, and it's hard to gauge what their true colours are at the moment. With Damian Priest, he's kind of been face, but not for that long. He's kind of shown a good positive side, but not for that long. So I could understand the Wyatt Sicks watching the situation and not acting on the situation. Same with the Bloodline.
Maybe they just weren't watching the show that week. I would love to hear the explanation for that. Everybody all over the world saw that except for them. Or when Braun Breaker turned on Jey Uso. Nowhere to be found. Or anything that has happened with the Bloodline. Probably the most famous family in professional wrestling. You think I destroyed the awesome truth? What, how? Like, I told Mike Mizanin something, and he listened to me? That guy doesn't listen to anybody. Even when I threaten him, he will do what he wants to do at the end of the day.
That, for me, is the biggest own goal in this whole promo. So do you remember yesterday we broke down and we had a look at that theory that Karrion influences and changes people, and there's theories doing the rounds. One of the images at the bottom was Karrion talking to Miz. And surprisingly, that was one that I actually said, I could believe this. I could go with this. The ones at the top I struggle with. I think they're very coincidental. But the Miz one recently and the Xavier one recently, they feel like maybe they're a bit more built into the story. So I could actually buy these ones. He's now just come out and said, what, do you really think I influenced the Miz? Do you really think I changed the Miz? Do you really think I was able to get through? That guy doesn't listen to anybody. He is now distancing himself from the very theory that he praised yesterday. That, for me, was probably his biggest own goal when it came to this promo.
No one ever took into consideration that Ron Killings put him in danger every single week. Months on end. Got him involved with matches and beatings he didn't ask for. I believe in the truth, and I encourage people to be what they actually are. The Wyatts encourage people to live a lie. They think they should be some other way than they actually are. Okay, that's called hypocrisy.
I think the Wyatts just want people to have strong family values and actually be trustworthy. And so it's not about, you know, if you are just being who you are, well, then if who you are is a bad person, then you're going to end up on their radar.
Pretending that you're here to do something that you're not really doing. Targeting people for the very things that you're guilty for. They use these words, and I don't think they know what they actually mean. They try to weaponize these statements against people, and this is exactly what they are. And everyone's starting to catch on. I don't have to spell it out or explain it to anyone. People can see it clear as day, and they're very confused. But I'm not, because I've known what's been going on since the very beginning, and I wasn't against it. I was actually enjoying it from a distance. I would have never got involved in their business, even though I should have been from the very beginning. But the world's not ready to hear about that yet. One day they will, but not today. So where do we go from here? I guess you have to start asking yourself, who has done his bidding better than I have? Think about it. The devil you know versus the devils you don't.
So it's excellent. It's an excellent promo from Karrion, and this has really resonated with people. There are elements in there that I feel I can explain. There are questions and things in there which I feel very comfortable about. There's not anything in there that I feel kind of trips me up or stumps me or leaves me scratching my head. I feel like if you've got an understanding of the story, then you should be able to follow kind of where we are and what's happening. But a lot of people kind of see this, and it's very compelling, and it's very well told, and they go with it. You know, this is converting people over to Karrion's way of thinking. I'm in no doubt whatsoever that Karrion, as we said, is a master manipulator, master of mind games. And I think the fact that he is teasing things that are going to be revealed, I look forward to those. Maybe those do change the narrative, but I can only deal with what I'm presented with throughout this story, and so far, I really feel like Karrion is just using a lot of what he's being given and using it to the best of his ability. So really interesting. I know that probably went a little longer than people wanted, but it's very important because there are like repercussions to it, right? So Wrestle Night, shout out to you because Wyatt Sicks sent a message out, more of the same from them, which is frustrating, begged for our attention, and now you drown in the consequences of getting it. So their response is, you wanted our attention and now you've got it. Don't cry about it, basically, because, you know, we will go after Scarlett and we will destroy your family because you wanted us to be on your radar. You wanted our attention. Well, now you've got it. And the picture they used was this one here, which apparently is the one that Wrestle Night uses as his profile picture. So there we go. Not the most cryptic thing in the world. This is bonkers to me, right? Obviously, he's teasing the world's not ready yet, but they'll find out soon. And he's teasing that there's some reveal coming. So here's Kay, the creator, said, let's just get to the crux of the matter. Uncle Howdy is after Karrion because Kross has the one thing Howdy doesn't, the influence of the Fiend. Don't believe me? No, I don't. Here's a thread. Can I just say, without even getting into the thread, it's incorrect. Yeah, because Uncle Howdy isn't after Karrion Kross. He never was. He made it very clear he was after The Miz. The Miz, when he was kidnapped, said, what about Final Testaments? And Bo said, this was always about you. This was never about Final Testament. He was not interested in Karrion. So the idea now that we're trying to spin a narrative that Uncle Howdy is after Karrion Kross and this is the reason why, it's an absolute load of rubbish. It's nonsense. He wasn't after him. He wasn't on the radar, right? But now we're going to try and explain why Uncle Howdy is after Karrion Kross, even though he was never after him, right? Can you see? I mean, the reason why I'm showing you this is because, of course, Karrion responded to it. Of course Karrion did. And I'm not even going to do like a long walk on it because I know not everyone's going to be into this, right? But for example, it has our friend right in there, right? Like, you know, here, The Miz, and how The Miz was turned into a heel, which Karrion has literally just said was nothing to do with him. But this is, you know, used as part of this argument, right? The bottom line is that this person is claiming that when Bo returned, he was trying to get Bray to be the Fiend again. We know that was coming, but it never arrived because, of course, Bray passed away. And so the question now is the Fiend out there, and actually is it in Karrion Kross? I genuinely don't know why people aren't livid about this. I have not seen anywhere near as much pushback on this as I would have expected. I would have expected Wyatt Sicks fans to have flipping rioted over this. Could you imagine not long ago, earlier this year, if there was a theory that someone else other than Bo was actually the Fiend? I think people would accept it being Rowan or Braun or Alexa, but I'm shocked that right now people don't seem to be up in arms about this theory that it's Karrion that is carrying the legacy of the Fiend, right? And I've just not seen anywhere near the level of pushback that I would have expected. Part of me thinks maybe people just haven't quite seen this. 200,000 people have seen this, but maybe that's just not enough people yet. But it does feel like the Wyatt Sicks fan base is asleep. That's how it feels to me. It feels like Karrion has been so good with his messaging, so good with his mind games. It feels like the Wyatt Sicks fans are just... I don't know that they're done, because I think if Wyatt Sicks come back and they're exciting and they're thrilling and they're captivating, I think you'll get those fans back. But right now, those fans are very quiet. I get more people tagging me in Karrion stuff and sending theories about what Karrion means than I do anything to do with Wyatt Sicks. I just get tagged in their posts, that's it. No one really talks about them or speculates about them. Karrion is winning the social media battle, just as we thought he would. I'm not going to go into this. I mean, you can find it if you want to. It's nonsense. I can't even get past this first bit. It's nonsense. And then it includes something that Karrion's also told me is incorrect, right? But, of course, Karrion responds, "I can't believe someone figured it out. Well done." Oh, well, literally, well done, well done. You're months ahead. Oh, months ahead. Whilst others are years behind. The only thing I'm going to say about this is if they want to, and there was a really good point made about this, if they want to make this into the story, of course, they are the writers of the story. The WWE creative department, they can do whatever they want. So we can look at the information in front of us and we can decode it, right? But if they want to take this and make something out of this, they absolutely can. He can go and talk to them whenever. Knock on the door, have a word with WWE Creative, float the idea of, hey, how about it turns out I was the carrier of the Fiend, right? And who knows, if they like it, they can always run with it and find a way of fitting it in. For me right now, this does not fit. But I do have to always just err on the side of caution, because if they want this to become the narrative, they have the power to make this the narrative. Right? So he is applauding, saying, "I can't believe someone figured it out. Well done. You are months ahead," whilst others are years behind. I'm quite happy being where I am, to be honest. So there we go. This is pretty bonkers, to be honest. We've now got Karrion applauding and rewarding a fan, giving them, you know, recognition for basically claiming that he is the carrier of the Fiend. So, yeah, that's where we are. And Joe Gacy put this out. This is, you know, great. I mean, I don't know that there's anything more to this. It's just come from his Instagram account, but this is the problem we face, to be honest, is that Karrion is putting out 6-minute videos, twisting people's minds. And, you know, we just get a couple of sentences and stuff like this coming back from the Wyatt Sicks. The war is definitely being lost. Ultimately, I think the Wyatt Sicks will win the war. But, you know, at the moment, it's hard to find dubs if you are a Wyatt Sicks fan. And honestly, when it comes to being a Wyatt Sicks fan, I think the way the Sicks have been used has been very, very underwhelming. I think that they've not been seen enough. I don't think they've been interesting enough. It's one thing to be cryptic, but you've got to be interesting and captivating, right? I mean, the work they were doing in Nightbird was mind-blowing. The work we've had since then, nowhere near that level. Nowhere near that level. I said, actually, during the member stream, if the Wyatt Sicks were going to be this undercooked, then I really think we should have just left them off until 2025. I think we should have just had little teases throughout 2024 and then boom, launch them in 2025 with, maybe better creative, better, more vignettes that have been recorded, the characters fleshed out a little bit more. For whatever reason, it just feels like we've used them sparingly, and it just feels like they're underdeveloped, undercooked. It just feels like they're attractions that we bring in once in a while. But in this social media world, just coming in once in a while and dropping the odd tweet is not going to be enough. Certainly not if you're going up against someone the caliber of Karrion Kross. So, really interesting. That was a folder I was not looking forward to going into, to be honest, because I knew there was a lot that needed to be spoken about there. But if you did stick with us during that, then shout out to you. Okay, fun. We definitely need fun, right? Here's Byron Saxton. He said the Holiday Joy Tour has been initiated, and my first location is the Nel Festival in Cloverdale. Special thanks to the Grinch. So here we've got Byron just talking to the Grinch, saying Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. The Grinch responds by saying that's way too many Merrys, and I hope no one has a good Christmas. So that's basically what we get from this, but it's just pretty fun seeing Byron interact with the Grinch. But then we get to see this. So it's a Nel Festival, and it's just bringing a little bit of Christmas cheer. So he does love going to these random places. He goes to loads of local little museums and whatnot. This is just a little glimpse as to, a place you could go in the US at this time of year. Nel Festival in British Columbia. So here, look, we've got some ugly Christmas sweaters. We've got a band playing some Christmas music. Looks all right. Looks a bit quiet at the moment. Santa looks like he's not around as well, but you can have a walk around the grounds. There's his mate again, the Grinch. But it does seem very quiet. I feel like Byron Saxton's gone on a very quiet day. But yeah, that's pretty fun. Getting Christmas vibes from that. Big Dan the Man said, shout out to Real Art of Words on this piece of work. Every championship match from every WrestleMania is written here. So all this writing, it actually makes out matches, as you can see. They've used different color pens. And it's very clever, isn't it? Very, very good. So those are all the championship matches written, but they've managed to kind of make a picture out of it. I thought it was very good. Right, look at this. This is crazy. So today in Hysteria, I think I've unearthed a photograph of Rhea Ripley getting Roman Reigns' autograph at Melbourne Airport back in 2013. I had a look. She would have been around about 16, 17 at this point. But you can sort of see the back of her, right? The back of her head. But that is a picture they found of her from that time. I don't know if it was on her Instagram, but that is a young Rhea Ripley. That's her with her friend, right? She's wearing, you can only just see the top of the shirt, but today in Hysteria, they've established that it's this Triple H shirt here. So how crazy is that? There is a young 16, probably 16-year-old Rhea Ripley in what looks to be this Triple H shirt at the airport trying to get autograph from Roman Reigns. It's bonkers, isn't it? Bonkers. Right, this was a lot of fun. So here, look, we've got Sonya, we've got Shayna. They're both shocked. We can't quite see what it is that has shocked them, but we find out that Maxine is going to give Zoey a makeover. So now we know what has shocked them. It was the reveal of Zoey. That is what has ended up shocking them. So Maxine is giving her a dress. Here we go. Here's the big reveal, right? So they've given her this to wear, which is very Zoey Stark. They've kind of done her hair and everything, and there is Zoey Stark. She looks great. I mean, I think she looks amazing. And they've put her in very Zoey Stark shoes as well. You can sort of tell that she doesn't feel very comfortable. But I think she looks great. So, and then, of course, we have a look over at Sonya and Shayna, and that's when we get that reaction there. So, really good. Really good. Who tagged me in that? Well, no one, Zoey Stark, but there was a few that sent it over. Metal Mama, shout out to you. This 2-year-old is mean mugging Roman Reigns. It's taken Acknowledge Me to a whole new level. Let's have a look at this, shall we? So, there's Roman, right? Here's a kid. He gets his mean face on. Roman walks past, look, sees the kids, and he's having a little look at him again. And then, of course, during the match, he does a bit of mean mugging back. So, yeah, that from ESPN, apparently. So, the kid, look, you can see his mean face there. He gets his mean face ready, catches Roman's attention. Roman, again, just having a little look. I'm not sure how old this is, but it's great seeing, like, this kind of interaction. This is what live shows are all about, man. Love that. Good. I'm glad he rejected her, right? She doesn't even know who he is, right? Maybe if she'd have been a bit more polite, maybe not. Maybe he just didn't want to be bothered. But she does go over and go, I don't know who you are, but I understand you're famous. Like, that's, you know, I mean, straight away, it's not the best intro. So, Ric Flair is so real for rejecting this weird-ass fan. She's not even a fan.
Oh my god, look, it's Ric Flair. I don't even know who this man is, but I guess we're going to take a picture because he's famous. My friend said you're famous, so he wants to take a picture. Is that okay with you? Is that okay? He wasn't very happy with me. He told me he didn't want to take a picture with me, but that's his loss, not mine.
It's definitely her loss, not his. I mean, I will say this about her. She was very polite in the sense of asking him, do you mind if I get a picture? Is that okay with you? Like, that was very polite. It was just the other stuff that I don't know if it was nerves, but going, my friend tells me you're famous, I don't know who you are. Can I get a picture? Like, what did you expect? You know, maybe if you went over, maybe did a quick Google search and maybe showed a bit of love, maybe he would have been a little bit more open to the idea, but yeah, there we go. She got blanked. Probably the first girl ever to be turned down by Ric Flair. Imagine that. Imagine being a female and Ric Flair turns you down. That is, you've hit rock bottom. No DQ said Bayley is said to be the actual current locker room leader in WWE heading into 2025. This was from Cody. He was like, if we was giving out jackets with a C on for captain, he was like, Bayley would definitely get one. So apparently she is, you know, really doing a lot behind the scenes, right? I really like this as well. Jim Londos is someone I really don't know enough about, but massive star back in the day, right? Like talking, I want to say the 30s, you can find some of the highest attended wrestling matches and you will see Jim Londos' name mentioned a few times, right? The remarkable story of Greek immigration, assimilation, and sports history. I do not know enough about this man. He is a great of wrestling history. You can see the foreword is provided by JBL. This book comes out December 19th. Ebook will then follow. I am definitely going to pick this up. Dave Meltzer said, I can't wait for this one. Londos is one of the most important figures in pro wrestling history. So if you are a fan of the history of wrestling, thought you would be interested in that. Yeah, we've got some of our first ID matches. The first official ID showcase matches have been announced. 2 huge ID showcase matches announced for WWN Battle for the Belts. So a couple of matches there. And we've got this. So we've got this guy, right, who was scared for people to see him on his first day. So this is another of those first day kind of ID shorts. And this person here caught my attention because did you see that little glitch at the start? Look at this. So he is a very interesting person. Let's catch the back end of this.
That me being gay would hold me back. But when I walked in that first day and realized for the first time I wasn't going to be judged for who I am, I was ready to prove everyone who doubted me wrong. I will be the workhorse. I will be the diamond in the rough. I will be the dime piece, perfection personified, evil gay himself, Aaron Rourke.
There we go. So, really interesting, because I still don't think there's lots of gay wrestlers, not to my knowledge. Obviously, we looked not long ago just at Shayna and Sonya, but on the male sides, I'm not aware of there being lots of gay wrestlers. So it's really interesting that, I mean, you can see this is a big part of his gimmick. It's not something that he shies away from or tries to hide away from. It's something that he's trying to embrace. And I really like that. I mean, for me, wrestling, it should be a showcase of really what it's like in the world. You know, we should bring in all these different cultures, and we should bring in all these different people that can reflect what the world is like, a giant melting pot. So, yeah, this was one of the more interesting ones that I've seen. A lot of the others do promos, some of them not very good. This one, you know, peacocking right here. So, kind of caught my attention a little bit more as a result. Again, if you want to see a lot of these first day of wrestling school type videos, go to WWE ID. You can watch them all there. And Wrestle Night, shout out to you, ladies and gentlemen. The Paul Heyman documentary now on WWE Vault. So with that being said, let's do some... Oh, we need to go community. Some community ones we need to do. Raymond, shout out to you. Got Dustin Rhodes follow and a reply as well. Here as well, Jim said, I'm getting more with your way of thinking, but I did get a like from Karrion. I wanted you to see it, so he got a like from Karrion Kross. Very, very good. Down here, look at this, bit of fun. Instead of Elf on a Shelf, we've got Fiend on the scene. Fiend on the scene, guess who's back? So Fiend on the scene, playing some cards, messing up a Christmas tree, eating a happy pie. I mean, it's all kicking off. So, Fiend on the scene. Aaron got a follow from Downstate. I believe these are the guys that do Cody's music. So, Aaron, shout out to you. And Raymond as well. Here, getting a response from Karrion Kross. Care to comment? Karrion said, I'm an excellent swimmer, scuba diver, and I've got an excellent backstroke, specifically on Mondays, right? Which is good, because hopefully he's going to be dragged into the deep waters. And I can't not point this out from Raymond. Well, Kross, that's excellent. TikTok, don't worry, I'll be cheering for the final testament. This is what I see, guys. This is what I see. This is what I see right here. Yeah, this is what I see. His social media game is dragging people over. Yeah, it's dragging people over. Where are the Wyatt Sicks to put out the necessary responses, right? Instead of just these cryptic lines that can't stand up to Karrion's promos. This is what happens. This is what happens. It's not my fight. It's not my battle. It's for the Wyatt Sicks to work out. And here's Koji Co. Got some new items. I added these to my autograph collect. Look at that. Just, oh, that's very special, isn't it? Very special. Very good. And that one, actually. Jang Tae Sang said, am I dreaming? I'm so happy. This means so much. Got a followed and a like from Karrion. Look how busy this dude is. Same with Travis as well. Got interaction from Karrion. So lots of Karrion interaction there. So, very good. I'm very pleased for people. And so, Uncle Rebel, thank you, my friends. BreedTube 10, thank you. Bradley, thank you. Metal Mama, thank you. CM Chunk, thank you. Tony, thank you. Charlie, appreciate it. Samantha, it was Samantha that tagged me in this. I knew that it was someone. Samantha, thank you. Wrestle Night, thank you. Del Boy, appreciate it. OTC, thank you. Word of Wrestling, thank you. Sweet Chin Wrestling, thank you. Wrestling's biggest fan, thank you. Creature, appreciate it. Raymond, appreciate it. Jang Tae Sang, appreciate it. Ratchet the Owl, thank you. And Casper, thank you. If we go over to the Wyatts, got tagged in loads of Wyatts. So Shay and Craig and Austin and Tubby Pancake, Brandon, Bradley, Big Bam, PQM, Larry, Jim, Creature, CM Chunk, We've got Casper, Emmanuel, FGC Dads, Stan Games, Donald, Raymond, James, Ratchet the Owl 2, Julian, Cubs Fan 16. Thank you so much for tagging me in the Wyatt Sicks post and for all of those retweets. This thing going much longer than I wanted. I'm actually going to see if I can edit it down because at the time of recording this, it's currently going over an hour. So I'm going to see if I can get it down to like the 50-minute mark. So thanks a lot for joining us. Really appreciate it. I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.